just what would happen if they had to spend an extra 5 days in class. Because you're right, they've had a lot of time off. I know that from my own grandkids. Yes, they worked, there was online learning and all that stuff, but that did not consume their whole day. And that, I think, is something you just can't replace with online learning. You just can't pack in enough because you're not, while it's true that the teacher has to bounce between screen to screen to screen or, student to student to student doing it virtually, it's different than when she has them all in class and she can sit at her desk and just watch and see who's struggling and who isn't and get up and give some help. Right? It's just send them to school, keep them there, cancel spring break, and be done with it.
Okay, but I'm lost now because you've lost me, Nick, because
it's okay. I've lost myself.
Then we're both agree. I think the kids should stay in school.
I do too.
Okay, I thought for 1 second there you were trying to say that they shouldn't.
No, absolutely no. The other way around.
Okay, yeah.
I think because it's so hard to understand just exactly how hard it is to teach in this new world of ours, then let's get them back into a system that everybody can judge them on in the classroom and send the kids back to school. It's not going to kill them to go to school for 7 days that they traditionally had off. Because if you don't do it then, are you going to take an extra week out of your summer vacation, teachers or teachers union? Are you going to do that to make up for the time you gave them in March? They still have so many teaching days. They still have to cover the same amount of material. Do it now, do it later. Do it now. Get it over with. It won't kill the kids. As a matter of fact, it'll probably do them some good.
Yeah, well, I think we're on the same page here then. Nick.
I think it just took me a long time a lot of talking to come around to
I thought you said you disagreed with me or some words to that effect. Maybe I just wasn't.
Oh, maybe I did, but the longer I talk, the less I have to say.
I think this has been too frenetic a show because I think we're running out of energy. We've just been at it for an hour and a half here, a little bit more than an hour and a half. Anyway, yeah, I don't see the damage here. But I like to say, I'm an open-minded guy. Explain it to me. But so far, I haven't seen any kind of a reasonable explanation why the kids should not be in school rather than off for a March break this year, given all of the things that have gone on. And I just, you could make an argument for it. Don't get me wrong. But, I look at it and I go, okay, well, that's an interesting argument, but I think that the argument on the other side, as you've articulated it, Nick, I think is stronger. And I think that our children are far more resilient than we treat them. We're going back to part two of the show this week, okay, where we were talking about the government sending in these
stormtroopers,
quasi-stormtroopers, okay, after somebody squealed on the family for having the temerity to have a toboggan run in their backyard. And why? Well, one of the reasons, I presume, because someone's concerned about safety. Gosh, we wouldn't want the little kiddies to have a bruise, a little boo-boo or whatever, okay? And I don't mean to sound totally dismissive or anything like that because, okay, yeah, you know what? You can get hurt tobogganing. You're not going to get that hurt tobogganing from a 10-foot hill, no. Okay? Let me explain the physics of it. You get to the top of the hill, you jump on the toboggan, you get to the bottom. I guarantee you, once you're at the bottom of that hill, you have not picked up enough speed where you could literally crash head on into a tree at the bottom of the hill, and it's not going to do anything. Survive. You're not going to have any problem, okay?
Right.
Promise. So, but, we're raising these snowflakes. We're raising kids with the expectation that they should never have to face adversity, and we're taking away their ability to learn how to deal with adversity. And that adversity may be physical, it may be a little bit of pain. I tripped and fell, okay, whatever. But in this case, what is the adversity we're talking about? We're talking about some whatever, I don't know. Is it an emotional pressure? Because
if they can't deal with the psychological stress of an extra 7 days in school.
5 days.
5, right, 5.
5 days in school.
5 days in school, how are they going to deal with the stress of getting fired? How are they going to deal with the stress of job seeking? How are they going to deal with the stress of raising their own children, which never lets up?
Well, this is my point exactly, and this has to be part of the children's education. This may not be something that you plan a curriculum around, okay, but you learn from experience, okay? Children have to have some amount of stress in their lives. They have to learn to deal with stress. And how you learn to deal with stress is not a theoretical lesson where somebody's writing on the blackboard, these are the steps you take. You have to experience it.
That's right.
Perhaps in smaller doses, okay, but this is why I'm against the idea of eliminating tests. I think the kids should have tests in school. And if they feel stressed because of tests, then you teach them how to deal with the stress. You don't say, no, it's not healthy for the children to experience stress. Let them experience it in reasonable doses, okay, and help them to manage their stress.
Well, one of the things I'll say about this, because I totally agree with you on that. My wife is going through another college course to deal with project management, and she's under a tremendous amount of stress in order to be able to complete the projects on time, get her deliverables in on time. She's dealing with a team, and it's all Zoom stuff. They can't sit in a classroom. Half of them are across the other side of the world anyway, because they can't get into Canada, so they've enrolled in the college virtually. So she's got all this stress, and she's very good at dealing with it. But she's had a mountain of stress over her life. She's been married to me for almost 40 years. That'll make you gray in about a week. But the point is that if she hadn't had those earlier experiences of raising children, of childbirth, of the different stresses that come with life in general, losing people, people dying and going through the grieving process, all these things, she'd not be able to handle the stress that she now faces at this point in her life. Stress they say stress kills. Yeah, it does, but a lack of stress does too. Because all you do, it might not kill you physically, but it kills you psychologically. You curl up in a little mental ball and you can't do anything. You're not functioning. You have all kinds of mental health problems because you don't know what to do with this thing called stress. And like in my case, when I feel stressed, I grab a splitting axe, I go out and I chop up some firewood, or I grab the chainsaw and I go cut some up. I do something to relieve the stress. And people have no idea. And then a lot of people don't have access to that stuff either. But there's things they can do. But nobody educates them on how to deal with it because it wasn't taught in school. Just like in the old days, they didn't teach us how to balance a checkbook. Well, nobody even knows how to fill out a check anymore, never mind what a checkbook's for or how to balance one.
Well, I wouldn't count on school to teach me that anyway. I learned how to do that from my parents, from my
fair
mother.
Enough. But what I'm saying is that there's a time and a place for stress. Or, here's a stressful situation that I went through as a kid. I was 17 years old, maybe 16. I was on stage in front of 500 people with the prettiest girl I've ever seen in my life, and I had to dance. I was Rolf Gruber in Sound of Music. I can't dance. I don't have two left feet. I've got one left foot, and I fall over a lot. And they choreographed the little dance for Liesl and I, and what do I know? I'm 16. I'm up there and scared to death because what if I forget my lines, all that stuff. So whether it's sports, theater, arts, or whatever it is, these methods of teaching how to deal with stress, getting out there and actually taking a chance at doing it. What if I fell off the stage? Missed my footing and fell off the stage. Well, I'd look like a bleeding idiot. I might have been bleeding, but I'd look like an idiot. But that's what's missing today.
All right, Nick. Well, it's been quite a show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to thank you for joining us. If you take the time, we'd appreciate it if you'd share with your friends and neighbors and family and acquaintances, and even the people that you don't like and that don't like
them.
you. Share with them our show and invite them to join in next week, as we're inviting you to join us next week here on the Nick and Joe Show.
All right. With that said, I think we're going to bow out for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. And with that said, Ubicaritas et amor, Deus sibi est. Good evening. God bless. Don't let anything disturb your peace. And may you have a fair wind and a following sea.